Hi everyone, we're group 4 and I'm Mary-Wesley and we're doing cord cutting and streaming.
So, in recent years, the availability of streaming services has led to two trends, including canceling pay TV services and binge watching, which is typical on platforms such as Netflix, Hulu, and Apple TV. Cord cutting is the practice of canceling cable television subscription or landline phone connection in favor of an alternate internet-based or wireless service, such as the aforementioned ones, Netflix, Hulu, etc. This trend really started emerging in 2010 as more streaming services became available. And some of the advantages of cord cutting include saving money, not having subscriptions to undesired channels, and minimal ads. The disadvantages include limited live video streaming for things such as sports matches. Sometimes there's connectivity issues, and certain channels or programs are unavailable on different platforms. So, since the start of this trend in 2010, about 2.65 million US citizens canceled their cable TV subscriptions between 2008 and 2011 in order to participate in low cost internet video streaming subscription services or other types of free video platforms. So this chart is from Axios Media, and it shows how quickly the streaming industry can change. For many years, Netflix and Apple TV and Hulu have been the front runners of streaming platforms, but now more companies are taking their content off of platforms such as Netflix and into their own platforms. A recent example would be HBO Max moved Gossip Girl onto their platform, which causes users to maybe cancel their Netflix subscription or purchase an HBO Max subscription in order to watch their favorite shows. This has resulted in the streaming services creating their own exclusive TV shows or movies that can't be found on any other platforms or on cable television.
Hi, I'm Millie Stephenson, and some examples of cord cutting include consumers dropping cable and exclusively using streaming services, but it can also apply to many media companies such as ABC News and Fox News, who have begun to offer their programs on streaming services like Hulu. Hulu specifically has also begun to offer live sports to attract those still holding on to their cable subscriptions. So that has kind of helped people transfer and start cord cutting. And media companies such as NBC Universal have also started to host their own streaming services, allowing cord cutters to view their exclusive content if they're not offered on other streaming services such as Netflix and Hulu. And consumers often can set up streaming services easily on their television, which helps transfer people to streaming services rather than using cable. And another example of cord cutting is consumers dropping their cable subscriptions when they move, purchase a new TV, or their contract expires. And they move to streaming services as they tend to offer better prices, more diverse and choosable content, and they're more user friendly than cable. And cord cutting can also apply to those who choose not to have a television at all and solely view streaming content from their personal computers.
Hi, I'm Carla McAnna. So in terms of cost, there are a lot of financial benefits to cable replacement, and many consumers have begun to favor the lower price and more consumer-friendly streaming services. So here are a lot of differences between the two options. First, the cost of cord-cutting alternatives, such as individual streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, or Hulu, are relatively low cost, some costing as low as $5.99 to about $15.99 a month for the basic memberships. Similarly, TV replacement services such as YouTube TV, Live TV, Sling TV, etc., cost about $30 to $65 per month. Oppositely, the average cable package usually costs about $100 to $217 per month. Cable TV subscriptions usually require a 1 to 2 year contract, with price increases being possible during each term. And streaming services allow customers to cancel at any time, which is another incentive as part of the business model. Basically, the problem with the cost of cable television is that the average consumer is paying a large amount for a small amount of channels that get any degree of use. John E. Crawford examined the changes to TV viewership and draws on how the trend began to impact both customer choices, and the business models. He talks about how the variety of online streaming services have consumers hooked on being able to watch programming without needing to purchase channels that they don't watch. So in this next chart, we can clearly see that there's a big price difference between the average cable plan compared to streaming. In Plan B on the right, the average cable plan is depicted and monthly costs almost double Plan A, which includes 3 separate individual streaming services and high-speed internet. In terms of the revenue streams, cable TV replacement streaming services provide live content, with their main revenue stream being short advertisements that interrupt programming, as well as subscription fees. And there are various business models of TV replacement streaming, including subscriptions, transactional downloading, ad-supported streaming, and piracy-based models. Individualized streaming services have less supplemented revenue streams and depend on retaining consumers and members because of the majority of the revenue stream coming from membership fees, almost 99%. Netflix maintains its revenue growth mostly because of the ability to stream their content wherever and whenever, and they continue to expand their portfolio, meaning they reach a variety of content and consumers through all the different channels.
Hi, I'm Sophie McGuire. The interview that I had the chance of getting was with Derek Compare, who is the chair and associate professor in the Division of Film and Media Arts. One of the questions that we asked was how the cable industry is dying, and Compare talked a lot about how this is due to more and more people dropping their cable subscriptions, and when that happens, revenue streams dry up and force both cable systems and cable networks to cut costs or even to shut down. The next question that we asked Compare was about where he sees the trend of streaming within the next 10 years. Compare said that streaming is well on its way to becoming the default way we experience not only television, but film and music as well. Compare says we will see this being played out by 2030, if not much sooner. On the next slide, we'll see Compare, who also discussed cord cutting and streaming trends, saying that the movement to subscription-driven on-demand viewing and away from traditional metrics of demographics and ratings will have a profound impact on the entire system and each unique business as well. In regard to career opportunities, Compare said that there are so many different voices and perspectives now, you have an even better chance of being seen and heard more than ever before when looking for a job in such a hyper-competitive industry. And this concludes the interview portion.
So in terms of audience strategy, these subscription-based streaming services are taking advantage of the current digital culture as well as technological lifestyles of people to attract and retain their customers. So now more than ever, consumers have more choices for TV programming and how that content is going to be acquired than at any other time in the history of television. And this is driven by many factors, including economics, lifestyle, technological developments, as well as social trends. And now also exclusive for that platform content or transferring content to the platform of the original creator brings in more customers, but now consumers are having to have multiple subscriptions, which can become costly and confusing to manage and organize.
As far as career opportunities for streaming, as the industry grows, there are a ton of career opportunities involved with just the traditional streaming companies, but also with the original content. So as we talked about in class with Netflix, original content is the new process of streaming services competing with each other. So there's a ton of opportunities in TV and film production, writing, directing, acting, and even social media. So streaming platforms have ample resources to create this original content, and social media is extremely important to stay connected with their viewers, especially when shows are released all at once. Everyone's talking about it and they want to interact with the audience. And so an example of that is that with Netflix, each project always has its own Instagram account and its own Twitter account, and there's even overall accounts for Netflix. And then with streaming packages, there's another potential for new jobs because things are getting combined almost like traditional cable packages are. So there's a lot of opportunities within streaming for new careers. And then finally, for our summary, So to go back, cord cutting is the practice of canceling cable in favor of replacing it with just streaming platforms. And streaming platforms are succeeding with the introduction of original content, and a big part of that is the streaming wars. So it's fragmented the availability of content, with shows like The Office that are beloved and have always been on Netflix, moving to NBC's platform, Peacock, and having different platforms reclaim their shows. There's a lot of competition within the streaming wars, and as well as the rise of streaming packages. One of them that we didn't mention is the Disney Plus ESPN package that offers live sports as well, like Hulu Live Sports. Different packages like that are starting to look more like cable, but they're still beneficial cost-wise for consumers, and they bring more benefits for a lower price. So there are many opportunities for growth, and there's a lot of new things that will come from streaming. This is our works cited, just as a quick overview, and thanks so much for watching.